jókòó. Ẹ sì kú dédé àsìkò yìí. Hey guys, it's Adironke again. Today I'd like to talk about the parts of the back. I've been talking about body parts, and the back is next. The parts of the back. First of all, the back of the neck is called Eyin. Eyin, back of the neck. Eyin is back, Orun is neck. So the back of the neck is Eyin. Then there's the upper part of the spine in the neck, which would be the neck bone, and that would be Egungun Eyin. Egungun Eyin. Egungun is bone. So Egungun Eyin, the bone of the back of the neck. Egungun Eyin. Egungun can also be Egun. It's just the shortened form of the word. We Yoruba people like to shorten in certain cases or combine words even. So Egun is another word that you could use, and it would still be the exact same thing as Egungun. It's just the contracted version. Egungun or Egun Eyin. Then there is the shoulder. Of course, you can see the shoulder from the back as well, from the back of the human body as well. And so shoulder is Ejika, Ejika, Ejika. That's shoulder, Ejika. Then there is the shoulder bone, and that is Egungun or Egun Ejika. Egungun or Egun Ejika. So Egungun Ejika or Egun Ejika, shoulder bone. And I'm pretty sure you already know this by now, just because I mentioned it. Eyin. The back as a whole is Eyin. Eyin. The back as a whole is Eyin. The back. Or to be more specific, you could say Eyin. Ara is body. So Eyin. But Eyin in general is back. Writing Eyin as E ati ni, the previous slide that I showed you, writing Eyin with what you would call a Y in English is more recent. By recent, I don't mean it came yesterday. I'm saying the Yoruba language in its spoken and written form has been changed over the couple of centuries. Changes have been made to the way the language is spoken and the way the language is written. So if, let's say, Oduduwa was to return today, we may have to strain our ears to understand what it's saying, just because the language has somewhat been diluted, or in other cases changed. In the time of Oduduwa, Yoruba wasn't even a written language. It was a vernacular. So that's that. Eyin. Eyin. The way people pronounce it, some will say Eyin, some may say Eyin. They are both correct. Eyin and Eyin are both correct. So whether you write Eyin as Eyin or Eyin, either of the two ways is fine. Whether you write it with what looks like a Y and this one that looks like an H. Another word that has changed as far as how we write it is concerned is Oshogbo. It used to be written with an H. That's the older form. But if you write it with an H now, especially like in an academic setting, let's say you're a Yoruba student, you may be penalized because there's an actual alphabet for she now, which is what looks like an S with like a tail underneath. So instead of SH, what you would call SH in English, there's she. So Oshogbo, it's written this way now. Some people will say Osogbo. I was saying it in my previous video that many of the elders, especially, that local elders that live in Nigeria and in what is often considered the rural places, more traditional is what I mean. They may not always, if at all, use the alphabet she. So they would say Osogbo. If the average person was to say shilekun, which means open the door. They won't say it that way. They will say silekun. If the average person was to say shibi, which is spoon, they will say sibi. So they don't, for some reason, they just don't use the alphabet shi. And they are correct, because that one too, you could say it's a bit more recent for certain cultures. And their fathers and grandfathers didn't speak like that. So the alphabet shi, or using the alphabet shi, is just not natural to them. I'll address this in a subsequent video, just give you examples of words that I've changed as far as their spelling is concerned, since when Yoruba language first became a written language. Egungun or eyin is the spine, so the bone of the back, pretty much. Eyin. We also call it okpaini. Okpaini. Okpa is like staff, like a staff, something that supports. Anyway, that's the idea. So okpaini is spine. Okpaini or egungun or egun. Egungun. Egun. Okpaini. Okpaini. Egungun. Spine. Then there's the shoulder blade, and the shoulder blade is called okoejika. Okoejika. Shoulder blade. Oko is a hoe, the farming tool. Oko, hoe. So oko is hoe, and the way that it is used in Nigeria, it's used to koebe, make hips for planting. Because when you make hips, you give the plant more nutrients. Like, the plant doesn't have to, especially in its starting stages, the seed doesn't have to struggle too much to get nutrients. It has a lot of soil to get nutrients from. So instead of just putting something in the ground and just having the seed have to dig for nutrients itself, when you make hips like that and you put the seed in those hips, at least in its beginning stages, it has a lot of soil and a lot of nutrients, easy access to nutrients. Of course, it will get flat as time goes on, but at that time, the plant would have, developed to a substantial level so that it can find its own root properly and grow on its own. If what I just said makes sense to you. So the oko is used to make those hips. I remember that in secondary school, they had us buy those. They had us bring them for some reason, as well as cutlasses. But I only had to use it like once. But I used this a lot at home. Because my father had, I won't say farm, just farm-esque type piece of land that a few years ago, we would plant corn on and vegetables and stuff, but I guess our neighbors were stealing them or something like that, so we had to stop. Plus different kinds of animals and birds, it was too much, so we had to, plus nobody had the time anymore. But anyway, that's the whole. And why is it okoejika? It's because the Yoruba people are very descriptive and very observant, and that part of the body, that shoulder blade / shoulder part of the body, looks like a hoe. It looks like a hoe. Anyway, just because of the way that especially the shoulder blade, just because of the way that it is shaped, and that is why we call it okoejika. Okoejika, shoulder hoe or shoulder blade. Some people may have different names for the shoulder blade. Like I said, the Yoruba people are very descriptive. So there's no, this has to be the strict word that is used for something. We're very metaphorical and proverbial. And we may be saying something and saying something else, so the it's very likely that there's another set of words for it. Next is what we call the love handles in English, and in Yoruba we say ẹran ẹ̀gbẹ́ ikùn. That is meat at the side of the stomach. Ẹran ẹ̀gbẹ́ ikùn. We're very descriptive. Love handle doesn't really tell you anything about what it means, but you'll come to know that the beauty of the Yoruba language is it can be very literal. So ẹran ẹ̀gbẹ́ ikùn, and very descriptive. Ẹran ẹ̀gbẹ́ ikùn, ẹran ẹ̀gbẹ́ ikùn. Ẹran is meat, ẹ̀gbẹ́ is side, ikùn is stomach. The meat at the side of the stomach. You could also say the fat at the side of the stomach. So ọ̀rá ẹ̀gbẹ́ ikùn, ọ̀rá is fat. Ọ̀rá ẹ̀gbẹ́ ikùn, ọ̀rá ẹ̀gbẹ́ ikùn, ọ̀rá ẹ̀gbẹ́ ikùn. Ọ̀rá is fat, ẹ̀gbẹ́ is side, and ikùn is stomach. And that would be the love handle as well. So we Yoruba people don't have any nice names like love handle or something else that is as cute. We just call it what it is, I suppose. This would be the end of the video. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. I'll be more than happy to respond. Please share, leave your comments, and if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please subscribe. And thank you so much for your support. Continue to support my channel, and I'll see you in the next video. Have a good day and goodbye.